Welcome to Cincinnati, Ohio, home of some questionable culinary specialties and baseball's oldest franchise. But Cincinnati lacks one thing that other cities of a similar size have: a daily Amtrak service. In today's video, we'll take a look at Amtrak's Cardinal, a disrespected route through some of the most beautiful terrain in the eastern U.S. We'll take a look into potential improvements to this route to help justify its future existence. So come join me on a 20-hour journey on board Amtrak's Cardinal in a Viewliner Roomette. Amtrak's Cardinal departs from the beautiful Cincinnati Union Terminal in the wee hours of the morning, just 3 days a week. The station was designed by the Fellheimer and Wagner Group. The Fellheimer Group was the same group that designed another famous train station, Grand Central Terminal in New York City. However, the Cincinnati Union Terminal is of a completely different design. It features design elements that are now known as Art Deco. The main hall of the train station, known as the Rotunda, is a truly breathtaking space. It is notably the largest semi-dome in the Western Hemisphere, and only second in the world to one of my favorite places, the Sydney Opera House. Unfortunately, Amtrak currently takes a back seat to this beautiful space, which will hopefully change soon. A huge national network improvement is finally slated to get Cincinnati daytime rail service for the first time in over 4 decades. And hopefully part of that will be the push to get Amtrak's Cardinal to be a daily service. Currently, Amtrak is relegated to this small waiting area inside the beautiful terminal. I absolutely love the design elements of this room. Although some of the features in this room, such as these phone booths, are rather obsolete, I'm amazed at how well the Art Deco design of everything has stood the test of time. The state of Ohio has been notably absent from the huge Amtrak Midwest expansion. Ohio has the lowest ratio of Amtrak riders per resident of the top 10 most populous states. A lot of help is needed to make passenger rail in Ohio a realistic option. So I'll leave some links down below so that your voice can be heard in the Ohio Rail expansion project. So that way this board here can be filled up with trains once again. Right on time, we were led downstairs down a very long ramp to a single low-level platform. A stark contrast from the 8-platform, 16-track station originally built. The train concourse was torn down in 1974. Tonight's Cardinal features a rather short consist. It's led by a General Electric P42 DC locomotive number 23, 2 Amfleet 2 coaches, an Amfleet 2 diner lounge car, this Viewliner 1 sleeping car, and a Viewliner 2 baggage dormitory car. Well, I'll catch you all in the morning. I want to get some shut-eye so I can enjoy the beautiful scenery tomorrow through West Virginia. Good morning. We are now approaching the train's first stretch stop since Cincinnati, and that is in Huntington, West Virginia. The station in Huntington, West Virginia was built during Amtrak's Standard Stations program back in the late 1970s to standardize the design of all the stations. The Viewliners are my favorite rolling stock that Amtrak operates. What's your favorite rolling stock that Amtrak operates? Let me know in the comments down below. Now check this out. As you leave Huntington, West Virginia, you pass CSX's Huntington Heavy Rebuild Shop. Check out all the cool motive power outside here that is either in a state of rebuild or is unfortunately being gutted for parts. Now, one of the main highlights of this trip is passing under the breathtaking New River Gorge Bridge, which carries US Highway 19 over the New River. It was the world's longest single-span bridge for almost 30 years. It stands 870 feet above the train.
Nice bridge. That's an old bridge.
Look at the bridge. That's the kind of bridge we went over.
That's a nice bridge.
Over the river.
That's good.
Look how big the train station is.
Yeah, they must have had, in the olden days, must have been a big. Look out of the way, here comes the big guy. Yeah. I had a bottle of wine before I got on the train, but I didn't drink it last night. I didn't feel like it, so I got a whole day. It's too heavy. Oh, look at that. I know you can't drink that. That was beautiful. Yeah. I should have took a picture of that.
This is the town of Hinton, West Virginia, The station is built by the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway in 1905. The depot and station area are currently going through $1.5 million in repairs. The station with the most significance on this route is probably the stop in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, home to the Greenbrier Resort. The station was built in 1930 by the Chesapeake and Ohio, who famously owned the Greenbrier Resort until 2009. These tracks behind the station are notable for housing the private rail cars of wealthy patrons of the Greenbrier. None here today. One of the most common items that you will see being transported by freight rail in the United States is coal. And you'll see a lot of coal trains here in Clifton Forge, Virginia. Here, this train is on the fueling pad. The station at Clifton Forge is really cool. It's a building originally built by the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway in 1902. It currently serves as the Amtrak station and CSX offices. Work never stops on the railroad. It's a tough, gritty job, but it has to be done to keep trains moving. You come to appreciate smooth track, especially when you ride overnight on board Amtrak. Most track on the Class 1 railroads, such as CSX and Norfolk Southern, are actually pretty smooth. The Cardinal, however, also operates over the Buckingham Branch Railroad, a small short line in the middle of Virginia. A lot of improvements have been made over the last few years to improve the ride quality of the track and increase the speeds over the route. But there's still a lot of work to be done, and it is noticeably rougher than the CSX and Norfolk Southern track. You'll also notice as we traverse the Buckingham Branch Railroad that we have left the mountainous terrain of West Virginia and are now crossing the flat farmland of Virginia. The Viewliner cars are arguably the best all-around product that Amtrak has ever created. They are the only rail cars designed specifically by Amtrak. They feature a very innovative modular room system, which allows rooms to be removed to perform more thorough maintenance. On this trip, my accommodation was a roomette, which is capable of holding 2 adults, although, having done it, I don't recommend it. The car on today's train is a Viewliner 1 sleeping car. The Viewliner 1 roomettes still feature an in-room toilet, which was removed on the newer Viewliner 2 roomettes in favor of 2 shared toilets. The Viewliner 1 sleeping cars are now 25 years old, so the design elements are a little bit more muted and there's a little bit more wear and tear on them. But they've held up really well over those years. One of the huge benefits of the Viewliner sleeping cars is the in-room storage, and there is a ton of it compared to the Superliner sleeping cars. Another benefit over the Superliner sleeping cars is the amount of headspace in the upper berth. And my personal favorite feature is the upper berth windows. I could spend the whole trip up here.
This is a boarding call for Amtrak lesson 1019 en route to Newport to the new stop at Alexandria, Cincinnati, Colorado.
Now check this out. Something that Amtrak is really good at is utilizing all available equipment for all types of uses. Over here we have 2 of Amtrak's inspection vehicles. The 1002, named the Corridor Clipper, a track inspection car rebuilt from an Amfleet 1 coach, and the 1005, a catenary measurement car rebuilt from a former Metroliner. Pushing these cars is a EMD SW1000R locomotive, one of only 3 that Amtrak owns. call the food service car on this train a dining car is a little bit of a stretch. Beginning in 2006, Amtrak enacted a cost-cutting program called Simplified Dining Service as a way of creating a more efficient, cost-effective dining program. Whenever you hear those words, it usually does not equal a very good experience for the customer. That brings us to this former Amfleet 2 lounge car. These cars were completely gutted and overhauled as part of this new dining program, which was positive. The bad news was that these cars were then substituted in place of the vulnerable heritage dining cars. Gone were the freshly prepared eggs in the morning, burgers on the grill in the afternoon, and steaks in the evening, instead replaced by meals prepared on steam trays or in convection ovens. After a huge improvement to the food service following severe backlash from the simplified dining program, Amtrak's new management team in the late 2010s looked to repeat the failed cost-cutting initiative. Right. Good job, guys. Alright, to give them the benefit of the doubt, the food isn't that bad. They're doing a better job of creating somewhat tolerable amounts of sodium in these pre-made meals. However, the issue lies in the lack of inspiration that this cost-cutting has created. If sleeping car prices were lowered to match this level of food service, or a lower priced option without meals included was offered, I think Amtrak could learn a little bit more about what they need to offer food service wise going forward. Putting the flexible dining service aside, the question becomes, how can Amtrak improve the Cardinal to the train it needs to be? Amtrak ordered 25 Viewliner 2 dining cars. Currently, only 3 long-distance trains utilize these cars, with almost half the fleet not being used at a given time. These cars feature a beautiful decor, with large windows that would make viewing the beautiful scenery on this route so much better. Another proposal would be to bring Superliner equipment back to this route. Although that is less likely due to there being a shortage of Superliner equipment, a temporary full equipment swap to bring a sightseer lounge car to this route could do so much for the Cardinal public relations wise. But I think we can all agree that whatever direction Amtrak chooses to go with this train, that it needs to be in a forward direction. This train does not deserve to be in this condition. Hopefully, a much brighter and prosperous future is in store for Amtrak's Cardinal. Overall, if you have time to spare, I would recommend a trip on board Amtrak's Cardinal to see some of the untapped beauty of the eastern United States. However, I would keep my expectations low for the level of service that Amtrak is currently offering. To get the best deal, I would recommend booking your tickets as far in advance as possible. For this trip, I booked 3 months in advance and I was able to get the lowest possible fare, which is $287 for a Viewliner Roomette, which includes all meals that I showed in the video. I feel that there is more to be offered for the prices being charged. My question for you is, do you think you would ride Amtrak's Cardinal? And if not, what would you like to see implemented? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And be sure to check out my Instagram page, where I post regularly. I hope you enjoyed today's journey on board Amtrak's Cardinal, and until next time, thanks for watching.